Hello, everybody. So our to-do list is about 12,000 characters. And we're just going to keep going through the list and just working on this stuff. So have summons inherit the special stats. Yeah, this is what we were talking about this morning, that I need to plan a little bit, because right now the way that power and fortitude work is that your summons only get a portion of it. I don't know where that portion is. Where is it indeed? Percent health of summoner. Oh, the power isn't applied for this? Huh, interesting. They don't even have fortitude. I guess because they die pretty much immediately. Yeah, now that I think about it. Okay, so then the way that the Spirit Caller works. Spirit Caller currently summons spirits with 10% health. Oh, I even make it 10%, I wonder. Why don't we just like set it to 1? They have 1 HP. I don't know. What about power? They just get the summoner's power? 10% health, 0 fortitude, and the same power as the summoner. And then the witch doctor summons zombies with how much fortitude? Where is fortitude? Oh, stat multiplier. What? Summoner's fortitude times stat multiplier. What's stat multiplier? Okay, sure. So with what? 35% health, 75% power, which seems kind of stupid to me. Just make them summon with full power, right? 75% power and 100% fortitude. Summons do, so this is how things currently work. Summons do not get dodge, lifesteal, haste, or return damage. So what we could do is, yeah. Option 1 is just grant some percentage of all of those stats to the summons. This will probably make zombies nuts. Like, just absolutely crazy, overpowered. Option 2 would be to prevent the stats from even making it to those characters. Just grant more power or something. Yeah, and grant more stats to compensate. E.g., if a normal character would get plus 5% dodge, the witch doctor would get 7%. Option 3, what else? I just like funnel all extra stats into power. So plus 10% dodge on the witch doctor may turn into plus like 3% power on the zombies. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Lifesteal. Yeah, I guess lifesteal has literally no purpose on the spirits. Well, not literally no purpose. Lifesteal and dodge have practically no purpose. Wait, lifesteal, dodge, and return damage, since they can't be targeted. Curious. I guess another thing we could do is option 4, make lifesteal work for the summoner, even though the summons are the ones dealing the damage. I'm not sure what's best here. Like, what does the Spirit Caller do with these? I think it's just don't grant them the stats if it's not going to do anything. But then what stats are we giving them? Just more power? I don't know. I mean, they would benefit zombies at least. Zombies are intended to take damage. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. I think I like this. Leaning toward option 2. Maybe, I mean, haste is always useful. Haste could be sent to the summons as well. I think it'll make him too powerful. Oh, if the cleric's not too powerful, then maybe they wouldn't be too powerful either. I'm not sure though. Yeah. So Spirit Caller would be allowed to get power, life, fortitude, haste. I mean, dodge still helps them. So it's just Spirit Caller couldn't get life steal or yeah, that's pretty much just it. And the Witch Doctor couldn't get life steal. Yeah. Pretty much just that. I think that's all we really have to do. Hey, helpless hero. Because there's no point for them getting this ability, right? But everything else still has some purpose, and it's not as helpful to have return damage. I guess on the Spirit Caller it could be. Yeah, you know what? Okay, I think that's pretty much fine. And no one's noticed and complained about this. I don't think they're paying that close attention. So I think this is what we're going to do. How do we do it now? That's the question. So we generate, what are these considered defensive or offensive? Lifesteal. Lifesteal. Considered defensive. So where do we do that? Generate battle perk from options, shuffle defensive perks. And we have the adventure class here. And we then add them all. Generate battle perk. Can generate. Yeah, so I guess this is pretty simple, right? We just go to the lifesteal battle perk and we just say you can't generate it. Do I even use this function anywhere? I must for skills. Yeah, for dodge, fortitude, skills. Okay, I guess because those could make you invincible. So now we just do it for lifesteal as well. So dodge battle perk. We do one of these. And we say can generate. You can generate it as long as, let's do private static hash set adventurer class invalid classes. So it's going to be the Witch Doctor and the Spirit Caller. Okay, and you're allowed to generate this as long as you don't have this in there. Okay, that's it. We're done. We don't have to do anything else. Let's go test it. Is the question mark in battle perk part of the name or the modifier? Let me take a look at what you're talking about. Oh, here. So this is saying it's an optional battle perk, as in this can be null from here. And sure enough, you see a return null here. So if we didn't have that, then this would now be impossible. It says possible null reference return. Well, I guess it's still possible. It's just that you need to indicate that it's possible. Okay, so now if we enter a game, doesn't matter what game we enter. Yeah, sure. If we enter a game and now we try generating these, we got to look at Witch Doctor. We should never see lifesteal for them or for the Spirit Caller. So far, we're fine. Unless technically doesn't improve anything. And we should see lifesteal for other people. I should probably keep an eye out for that. It's always going to be the bottommost one, I guess. Yeah, so there's lifesteal. So we can find it on regular characters. Witch Doctor doesn't have it. Let's try another 5 times and just see. So there's 1. It's correct. 2. It's correct. 3. It's correct. 4. It's correct. And 5. It's correct. Yeah. I tried 6 and 7 there. Yeah. All 7 works. So I'm going to assume that it's working just fine. And is that all we really need to change here? I think so. I think there is something a little bit weird about haste not being inherited by the other characters, but there's still some value in this. The Witch Doctor having haste means they'll summon more zombies. And the Spirit Caller having haste means they'll empower their spirits more often. I kind of want to try, let's go test this out. Let's go to haste battle perk and let's just make it generate a value of 2. So this is going to be super fast. And I want to see what happens when it comes to stacking damage, because it's going to be interesting to see. So I make a new game, I click this, sure, whatever. I give myself some wisdom sludge and we get a, here we go. So we just needed to show haste at some point. And specifically for the Spirit Caller, which isn't even showing up here. There it is. There's the haste, yeah. And right, they don't already have it. Yeah, haste is 0. I buy this. It is now 200%. So if I get into a battle with a Spirit Caller, they're going to be empowering their spirit like crazy. They're only empowering the fairy spirit, though. Come on, empower the snake. Well, there's a 50% chance. It's rolled this every single time. There we go. Yeah. So this can make them do more and more and more damage. Unfortunately, they have that fairy spirit there. I want them to not have that. They're doing 15 damage. Now they're doing 13 again. All right, let's just back out of this. Hey, Wendy, how you doing? I'm testing something out here that's very specific. We have these summoner classes in the game, and that summoners can get stats that don't make sense for the summons. So it was just kind of bad for them to get these. All right, we can go for this. That's fine. But I don't actually need to grab that. I'm waiting for it to give me plus haste. I will click this button however many times I have to. I don't know what the odds are. I think it's like a 7% chance that we find what I'm looking for. Maybe slightly higher. And so far we haven't. Oh, come on. Come on, just give me the character. That's close to it. That's not exactly what I need. There it is. We got it. Okay, so now I can go test this. I'm going to turn on invincibility. And we're going to go into here. And I'm going to click that. So this will let us know what their damage level is. They start out doing 10. Then they do 12. Then they do 14. And then they should do 14 from here on out. Meaning this really isn't that good. Yeah. This really isn't that good. It's not necessarily a problem. But if we really want to be nice about it, what we could do is we could, whenever you're generating it for a summoner, or specifically the Spirit Caller, we could generate twice as much. If adventurer class equals Spirit Caller, value times equal Spirit Caller bonus, or multiplier, let's say, multiplier. And this is what, a float? Yeah, it's a float. So if I set this to 1.5, what happens here? In fact, let's just set it to 1.5 for everybody and just see what happens. I think it's going to show as a, oh no, it's a percentage. And it's rounded. So it'll show as, yeah, that should be fine. The Spirit Caller doesn't really benefit a lot from haste, so give them more. This is going to be a little bit hard to test because normally we would generate according to this formula. So the first one is going to go from 8% up to 15%. But then the spirit caller is actually going to be allowed to get 1.5 times more. So it'll go 12 to 23. I don't know if it rounds. I guess it doesn't round. So 12 to 22, maybe. No, probably rounds. But then every time I get a perk, it's going to generate that with a higher number. And we're not even guaranteed to get haste. So this is going to be a little bit hard to check. Yeah, so there's 13%. We're looking for the spirit caller, though. 12%. Spirit caller got 21%. Yeah, so that's already beyond the amount that other people would get. Yeah, okay. I think that's pretty good. I think that's a pretty good compromise. And the witch doctor, I think, benefits even more from haste, so I don't think it's a problem. Hey, Pressel. All right, I think this is a pretty good solution. Balance battle perks for summoners. Neither the witch doctor nor the spirit caller benefit from lifesteal. So that stat can no longer be generated for them. Also, since the spirit caller doesn't do super well with haste, I buffed how much they receive in particular when getting haste by 50%. Yeah. How many lines of code is it roughly? I haven't done a check in a long time. Kevin's done them every once in a while, and last time I remember it was like at least 40,000 lines of code. But yeah, I don't know. I should probably just download clock and have a thing that checks. Do I have clock on my machine? No. Brew list clock. Is that even a thing? No such CAG? All right, I don't know. I'm not going to look into this. Yeah, sorry, Mars. It's shaky. Yeah, yeah. It's hard to figure it out without something that's going to actually count just the lines of code that you have, and it should be aware of the language you're using too. Because like I could funnel every program into WC and count the lines of each file, but that would only tell you a little bit. So I wonder if this is sufficient. I'm going to say it's sufficient. All right, done with that. Okay, next up. You can't see how many guild supplies you've gotten for adventurers you haven't hired yet. Maybe in bone mode, adventurer level should consider the guild level 2. I think this would be a little bit too much if we consider the guild level 2. But someone had a suggestion a while ago about showing supplies in the bottom left. Yeah, but I thought they even mocked this up for me. Hmm. I don't see it, but I don't know where to even look for this. Maybe supply? No. Well, someone did something like this. I guess I could search in Discord maybe. Maybe it'd be in here somewhere. I doubt someone would have used guild in the name though. Oh, you know what we can search for? We search for has image. Oh, that might help me find this. Then we just scroll back until we get to wherever that was. And it wouldn't be for me. Can we search for not something? No. All right. Well, I'm just going to keep looking through these things. I hope I don't have to go back too far. It's only once we started testing the treasure stuff. Oh, so we should find it pretty soon. Huh. Or I'm misremembering where this was sent. I thought it was this Discord, but it might have been via DM. Or maybe even in Twitch chat. If it's in Twitch chat, it's going to be impossible to find. Aha, here, right here. Yeah. This mock-up. Okay, so that was the idea, and I like this idea. Hey, Chef Alton, thank you, and I am. Yeah, so this is Ufda's message. Jump to that message. So copy message link. Was this July 27th? I guess I could have just scrolled back to July 27th. Yeah, pretty much. It was July 26th. And then I probably wrote the note on July 27th. Okay, not too bad. Let's get the image too. Because I like this idea, showing the icon. I think it might be a little bit confusing. And this number can be double digits too. Although we have a little bit more space on these things now. So, all right, let's go load up that adventurer thing. Adventure, what's it called? I don't know what it's called. Battle party member? Yeah, here it is. And then this inherits from this, which inherits from this, which does not have a level thing on it. Interesting. So it's this that we want to look at. Unspent points indicator. So what I'm thinking is if we can fit something perfectly within this circle, then we can just cover it with the unspent points indicator if we ever need to. Although in challenge mode, that'll never show up. No, wait, it could show up. I wonder if we should indicate this differently then. Well, still, let's just kind of mock this up for a little bit. So I'll just make another one of these things and we'll turn this one off. And this is going to be the guild supply level. Yes, sir. It is equally nonsensical. It's going pretty well. Yeah. All right, so how does this work? This has the circle built into this? Like what's causing... What's causing that circle to show up? Oh, good. It's a panel container. Okay, so then we can just put whatever we want in here. So what I want is for there to be a texture rectangle. And that rectangle is going to be an Alice texture that loads in the items. And then we just pick whatever the guild supply is. I'm not going to try to figure this out. So let's just go look at all item data. And we'll pick the, what's an easy one? Yeah, the fire rod. Fire rod is 21.7. Okay, so check this out. You can actually do multiplication here. 21 times 16, 7 times 16, 16, 16. So now we should have the fire rod. Good. And then we want to shrink this. What size should it be? I don't know how big that is. I'm guessing like 8 by 8 is too small. Well, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty nice. It set it to 16 by 16 though. I wonder why that is. Oh, because of keep size? If I said fit with proportional and then set this to 8 by 8, does that work? It does, but that's pretty tiny. Yeah, that's pretty tiny. Okay, so 16 by 16 is probably pretty good. If we were to make it 32 by 32, yeah, that's too big. And then we just need a label. This should be the number that we have. So it'd look a little bit weird because I guess it wouldn't be in a circle. So now we have to shrink this down. So we don't put the font color that we have. We probably keep the outline. Then we say a number in here. 19, sure. Oh, it should probably just look like that. In fact, let's just copy that over here so I don't have to figure that out. Cool. And then we would move this a bit. Yeah, so in the mock-up, the item icon took up a lot less space. And we could even overlap this a little bit. Maybe like that. But then it's not inside the circle, and that's the problem. And I'm not even sure it's clear from this. Also, what's funny is it says Witch Doctor, shows the warrior, and has the mage item here. So we could change this panel so that it's not a circle anymore. We do something like change a corner radius. And change this something else. I don't know what. Another little circle above. Another circle above this thing. I guess what we could do is we could have a circle to the side of this maybe. I just want to cover all this with, like, maybe move this. And then put this inside of here. And it probably won't be obvious. It's kind of a mess. Yeah, I'm very bad at this. I don't think having two levels. Okay, I gotta think about this a little bit more. So option one is show a separate level like this. Option, whoops, what's going on here? There. Ugh, so tedious. Okay, option two is combine the levels for bone mode at least. Option three is show the guild supply level in a totally different spot. Maybe just color the circle differently, no icon. I don't think it's going to be obvious to you what these things are, though. What I'm thinking of doing is, it matters for when you hire somebody. So here it says a holy warrior, blah, blah, blah. This is the description. Then this is what role or roles that they have. And then it says you have one perk for this adventure already. It could just say right beneath this, they are level 42 in terms of guild supplies. And yeah, that's probably good enough. That way you can at least tell what they're supposed to be. Now, the other thing to consider, though, is that kind of every adventurer is leveling up at the same pace in terms of guild supplies. You just can't see them at a glance. I think I at least like the way of just showing it below this for this adventurer already. So we could say guild supply level, or maybe like guild supply power. I'll write to do consider showing health and power from guild supplies. We put that right below there. Sure. Now, how do we even compute this, though? Stat computations has something about guild supplies here. Reflect stat bonuses. Where is this? Power bonus from guild supplies. AC. This is in the adventurer component. Then how do we do this when you first hire the adventurer? Oh, because we get their level? Where's the level come from? Oh, it was right there. And do we just need the town? Do we have the town? Yes, we do. Okay, well, that's not so bad. So shouldn't we just make a thing that gets us the guild supply level? Why did I do that? Public static int get guild supply level. Int total num supplies. Yeah. There we go. You can do that? Dot level? Seriously? I didn't know that was possible. I guess because we gave it a name, it becomes possible. Wow. That's kind of crazy. All right, so then this can be simplified. We can delete all that and say get guild supply level. And even rename this to guild supply level. And now that we have that function, we can do this over here. Guild supply level equals that. Now total num collected comes from here. And this is like guild supplies collected. All right, so now this becomes guild supply text. This adventurer is level due to guild supply. Something like that. I just want to see what this looks like. Power up item ID. Oh, come on. Adventurer data. This is stupid. this is stupid. And I don't even need any of this other stuff, right? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to combine all of this into a function over here. This would be public static int get guild supply level. Maybe pass in a town and an adventurer class. And then paste all that in. And then return this. Good. And then we can replace this one. This will be guild supply level. That takes in the town and the adventurer class. Get rid of that. Do we use adventurer data now? We do. That's fine. So everything else looks good there. I want to do the same thing over here. So guild supply level is equal to that. And there we have it. Do we handle internationalization? We have some setup for it, but it's not complete yet. Like Kevin did a bit for Spanish. But yeah, I've got to figure that out. I plan to do that in November. That should hopefully be one of the first things we try to figure out. So we can localize to a bunch of different languages. All right, so what am I doing here? I'm clicking this, and then what am I looking at? I guess we upgrade this. No, this won't help. What am I doing? I guess just get that. And start. Okay, so we need the treasure room. Let's go try to build that. Good. Then let's get a bunch of random guild supplies. So there we go. And now they're going to bring them to the guild. Let's speed this up. Oh, you know what? I didn't even think about this. Hey, Goose. Thank you. But only for to-do streams, right? Nothing else. This adventure is level 0 due to guild supplies. This adventure is level 1 due to guild supplies. So what happens if we get another cleric item? Those are not cleric items. Are they paladin items? No. Okay, well then those won't help us. I need paladin or cleric to show up here. There's a cleric, and there's a cleric again. Yeah. Hey, Joshy. Google Docs should sponsor this, man. I think Google's given me enough money. Did this work? No, it didn't. So when you level up due to guild supplies, we should probably have this get updated. I like this option. We need to update the adventurer descriptions for hire when you level them up. Really felt like Adam in the moment. I was totally channeling him. Nice. Hope the notes pay off. Did everyone in your chat comment, wow, you're so organized? I wish I could be just like you. And you're like, yeah, it was just my idea. No other streamer had anything to do with it. Hey guys, Athletics. Hello. More like this guy is scatterbrained. Really trying to be better at it. That's got to start somewhere. So you've already taken an important stride. You can now no longer say you've taken 0 notes. All right, how do we update this? Maybe they saw my note taking and thought it was a good idea, like Adam did. I was inspired by Windy. See, the thing is, Windy, like you might see him typing on screen, especially as he's typing C#. He'll be like public class, and you're like, is he typing slowly? It's not that he's typing slowly. It's that in between every character here, he's actually secretly alt-tabbing off screen and typing like a whole line of notes. And that's what inspired me. This man has made tomes of text. Just every piece of knowledge known to man is there. What do you, what am I, what if I started making fun of you for your full-size key? I'm like, this man needs such a large keyboard. This man's got more than 100 keys on his keyboard. What is he doing with all those keys? And it's dust-free. How does he survive? All right, so updating this thing. There's an update description somewhere. I gotta find that. Perk choice UI. There should be a higher choice UI. Yeah, here it is. Update description. So where is this called from? Chose any perk? Choose perks panel tab. And we want the adventurer perk choice UI. Does this have the town here? Please have the town here. Kids will continue the same to-do list. Generational to-dos. I still think the most impactful advice that I've read about to-dos and just sort of productivity in general was from the book 4,000 Weeks. What's it called? Time Management for Mortals. And I'm like, look, I'm not mortal, but I'll still read the book, right? I'll be alive for longer than 4,000 weeks. And in general, what it came down to is you will not get everything done. Like, you are a finite being, so you can't get everything done. So don't try to do everything. And in general, the practical advice that they gave, and it was sort of toward the end, is like maybe have, 1 to 3 things on your to-do list per day. But don't have these like massive lists that just go on forever. Yeah, I thought that was a really good book. And I also liked that it didn't try to be more practical. It's mostly just like convince you that you are, memento mori, right? Remember, you're going to die and you will not get everything done. And I think it really, I talk about this a whole lot, the 4Ds. The only ways you can get things done or off of your to-do list is you either do them, you don't ever do them, you save them for later, or you give them to somebody else. So do, drop, delegate, and defer. And it's really just 2 Boolean choices. Is it you doing it or someone else? Is it, sorry, I guess 3. Is it now or is it later? Or is it just never going to get done? And drop is, I think, the most important thing you can do for any to-do list. So I think more people need to utilize that. And I've been trying to follow this myself lately. Like, we just had a task earlier that I filed and just immediately closed as not going to complete. It would have been nice to do, but it's just not that important. Yeah, okay, I guess there's another one. Lie about having done it. So 4 Ds and then an L. Quite interesting. Feels like it always repeats. To-do list, brain dump, time block, look at where your time's going and set goals. Yeah, but that's a practical advice. This book was more about the philosophical advice of like, if you're not an infinite being, how do you plan on getting so many things done in your life? And I like that. It was more about the philosophy of things. And then every self-help book, I think, boils down to 2 things. It's 1 paragraph of advice, and then the rest of the book is just medicine to help it go down. Or maybe sugar to help it go down. I don't know. But yeah, it's like, hey, we're going to convince you about that 1 paragraph. So if you didn't need any convincing, yeah, of course, you could just learn the 1 paragraph of advice. I think a lot of them boil down to like, here's why this matters or how this helped or what's going to convince you about this. Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. Hey, MPV. How you doing? Steve. Yeah, it's pretty good. So they're not at 5Ds. Wake up at 3 a.m., do a full day before anyone else is even awake. Then I do another full day alongside them. Then I do another day's work between 5 p.m. and 2 a.m. Yeah, that's the 3 workdays method, popularized by Windy K. Beard. He was a visionary. He lived to be 240. A man who lived for 3 lifetimes. What's the K? Kangaroo? I believe that's your middle name. Kevin? I don't know. I'll create my own AI agents. Yeah, someone should make a book like that then. How to be infinitely productive in the age of AI. Step 1, use AI. Step 2, kick back. Okay, so what I'm hoping for here is that we have... Where is this? Man, reloading apparently didn't do anything for me, huh? Let's try again. It's night with soft K. Because I'm so shark. I know it's a typo, but I'm not going to read your next message where you fix it. We'll just never look at that one. This man is a shark. I think it's called the higher panel tab. Yeah, so where's update description on this stuff? Overlay visibility controller. Step 2, talk about every single problem and life matter with the AI and try to prevent any real human interactions. Oh man, I heard about... We have some friends, they're a couple, and the woman used to ask the guy, like, hey, does this color look good on me? And she started asking AI about it. Like, she would take a picture. And there was some other thing that she used to ask her husband about. Maybe like, what's the weather? That's much more standard. You could already have looked online for what's the weather a while ago, but you couldn't have looked online for like, does this outfit look good? And the husband felt kind of like sort of jokingly dejected about this. Like, hey, you used to involve me and now you're not. But I bet we're going to start to see this a lot more. Okay, I don't know where this code is. Maybe it's in town menu? Is that what owns this? Update description? Chose any perk. Choose perk panel tab. What inherits from this then? Oh, it is higher panel tab. Okay, my bad. I don't know what I'm talking about. No, Goldskin. Leave my mistake out there, read it to everyone, then comment on it. Self-respect in ruins. But sharks don't need self-respect. They're very self-possessed to begin with. Definitely useful for some situations, but those types of things are maybe a bit too much. Yeah. I think it all comes down to what do you want to talk to other people about? Because I mentioned this about Discord communities, but think about it. Maybe 20 years ago, if Discord had existed, you would have had people who would ask things like, how long does a kangaroo live? You wouldn't ask another person this nowadays. You'd type it into a search engine and you'd find out the answer and you move on, and that took 3 seconds, right? So I think there's going to be a whole category of questions where you really don't need to interact anymore and you want to just for the human contact. So maybe something like, do more people prefer, I don't know, Coke versus Pepsi in this community? In the future, maybe you could ask an AI that. It'll actually like parse through all the messages in the community and then answer it for you. I would assume that they talked about it, which probably they wouldn't have in any random community. But yeah, it kind of makes me wonder, how much are we going to trim down on interactions just because you can get the answer pretty quickly? That doesn't seem right. I don't know. I really can't comment. I'd probably look it up on Wikipedia, and I'd trust Wikipedia. Kangaroo. Life cycle. Lifespan is average at 6 years in the wild, yeah. Some things like, do these jeans look too baggy or too skinny on me? More human subjective questions probably shouldn't be asked from AI. Yeah, I think it all comes down to trust and what you're trying to get out of it. That's short considering how big they get. I think it said in that same sentence that they could live up to a lot longer. Actually, it's probably the same for cats and dogs, right? Cats and dogs in the wild probably live some average of like 6 to 10 years, but domesticated could live like 10 to 20. So yeah, maybe it's just the same with kangaroos. All right, so what I'm thinking of doing here is we need to figure out when someone levels up through guild supplies. Thankfully, we have a stats increased message that shows. Do we have an event when this happens? No, we don't. We just have this. But it's in the Adventures panel tab. Does it come from something else? No, it's just on process guild supplies. Well, I want this thing to know that this changed. And then we can call update description. There is no update description. Is it in here? Update. Okay, this is starting to come together, but I'm still confused about something here. Chose any perk. We call chose any perk. Call update buy button and then update the description. Okay, so it's just chose any perk. This shouldn't be called chose any perk anymore. There should be like update buttons. What does the buy button do though? Why would that need to be updated? Strange. I don't know why we did that. Because it's any perk, because we don't know. Okay, fine. Well, it shouldn't be called that anymore. It should be called something else. Veramund, thank you for the raid. Hello, hello, hello. That's why I get an AI girlfriend. This is why people had waifu pillows back in the day. Now they have AI girlfriends. How'd the stream go, Veramund? Welcome in. I do wonder if we'll actually get like AI, robot AI in households in like 30 years. I think there's a lot of stuff that having a robot in the house would be pretty cool. Like if I just never had to do dishes again or fold laundry or something, that'd be pretty fantastic. OpenGL math and write some test cases. How are you feeling compared to when you'd rated me last? I know that you said it sounded like a more melancholy ending than today. Today sounds like a more positive, neutral positive, I'd say. You mean not having to put dishes in? The putting dishes in isn't really the bad part. It's putting them away I don't like doing. Actually, I guess both take time, but putting them away I find more annoying. It's like loading the washing machine. Loading the washing machine is very easy, and transferring them is easy. And then putting all the clothes away takes forever. If I could have a robot do anything, it'd probably be ironing. And I know something like that kind of exists, but like proper ironing. Just set that robot. I don't need to iron these stupid shirts anymore, which I'm covering up with a hoodie anyway, but it's like, I should just switch back to t-shirts. Okay, so we're going to change the name of this. This is going to be like update all text. And then in here, we're going to have an event that gets emitted all the way up to the town. Alternatively, I mean, this is already coupled to the town. We could just say like emit adventurer leveled up in guild supplies. And I guess all we care about is a class, maybe. Yeah, because we might not even have the adventurer. So adventurer or like collected enough guild supplies for adventurer to level. That's a stupid name. How about this? Like adventurer guild level increased. Yeah, that's better. And then we're going to make a public function here just to kind of shortcut this because we don't have an event bus or anything like that. So trigger this for an adventurer class. And it should know how to write out the function. Whoop, there we go. Then we call this from over here where we have stats increased. And we do town.that. And we pass in the class. Interesting question. You recall exactly what I was talking about at last raid. I believe I've said before I bounce around on all sorts of things since I'm writing all my dependencies myself. Stream was short and largely productive, getting lost in confusion. I do not fully recall, but I can copy paste what you said. Wait. Let me see. I can't find it. Yeah, I can't find it now for some reason. Unfortunately, this UI is not helping. It's like super tiny and it's hard to read all the messages. Let me search one more thing. Oh, yeah, sorry, I don't know. Also, I was trying to look at VODs on your channel and I saw that you haven't published new ones in the last week. Was that intentional? I'm not trying to indicate anything. There's no subtext. It's purely just I saw this and you have some VODs, but not newer ones. Like a Roomba, but hotter. Oh my God. Probably caused so many hot fires. You iron? Oh, NPV. You cad. Yeah, I can't recall what you said, and now, like I said, it's too hard to look through that chat log. Feel bad. I said a thing and I can't back it up now. All right, so higher panel tab, we're gonna do this in here. Town dot this. Oh, we actually don't even care about the text? I guess we could check which, if we have deferred things for any of these characters. Yeah, I could. We could say adventurer class. All right, so how do we check this? If perk choice tracker dot has deferred perks. Yeah, I think that's probably good enough. Just do it no matter what. We could also check to see if you have that specific class. I guess that'd be best. But this is pretty decent. Let's try it out now. And if this works, then we just need to figure out, do I want to show power and health increase or just levels? So how do we test this? No. We should load from a save file. And then this doesn't have anything. Did I start a new game and then never did anything in that? Because this seems wrong. Definitely seems wrong. No, maybe. Well, I don't know. All right, let's just start a new one. So just Copilot, not the AIs that write the whole feature for you, et cetera, like Claude. Well, Copilot has access to all of those things. But yes, I'm just saying it's not a necessity that if you find out that someone uses Copilot, that they're not using chat or some agent. Like there are agents here. I don't use this stuff. I don't know. Can you see the details of when I typed this? Yeah, you can't. But this was weeks ago. Like I don't tend to use that. I just tend to use the autocomplete. All right, so we got to do the same thing we did before. We got to build the treasure room. And then we've got to get all of the, no, we can't get all the adventurers. We need to hire an adventurer. So Paladin and Rogue, and both are showing level 0. Now I hopefully find Paladin stuff. Nope. Paladin stuff in here. Okay, Rogue stuff in there. That's good. So we bring that cloak to the guild. And now Rogue stats increased, but more importantly, this now says this adventurer is level 1 due to guild supplies. So what would be the most interesting thing to show here? I think what's listed there could be fine. And then just in parentheses, we could say plus X power plus Y health. Yeah, that's probably pretty reasonable. How do we show this over here? We show health first. Okay, so I think we do this. We say plus BB code dot format number health bonus health. Whoops. And then plus that power. Yeah. Cool. Now we figure out what those bonuses are, which should be in stat computations. It is these. Pretty easy. Should probably be a function that gets all of this stuff, right? Like I want to get the guild supply values out of this. Well, I guess the guild supply level is only needed so that we can get the values. When would you ever care about just the level? Well, there might be a time. This is actually not a constant time function. Yeah, fine. I'll just call these. It's okay. Been publishing, haven't been publishing them. There have been a few things lately that have happened that I need to edit out. A very loud alarm in the area that I couldn't anticipate one day. Nearby loud work to the following day. Yeah, the following day. Not worth it to publish raw. So my own personal take is I would just leave them online. If they spooked live viewers, I might just change the title and say like warning loud sound at some point. But That's me. That way I don't have to edit them or do anything, and that way people could still see them if they want to. But also, yeah, I don't think many people probably watch VODs in general. I don't know if we talked about this before, but if you want, if anyone wants, I've got instructions I wrote on how to broadcast to multiple platforms. And if you were to broadcast to YouTube, for example, then I think they let you edit things. And it's pretty easy. And they'll let you keep the videos forever, whereas Twitch just deletes them after a while. But I'm streaming to Twitch, YouTube, and Steam right now. So if you ever go on the Steam page, you'll see me there too. I often watch YouTube VODs and not streams. So thanks for sending to YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's nice to at least have more of an audience too. And I found that, my YouTube numbers aren't great or anything. How do I show you guys these? Live. Here we go. Yeah. So YouTube numbers aren't so hot. Like 41, 85, 59, 89. Like none of these break 100. This one did somehow. But almost all of them are less than 100 views total. This is not like live views or anything or concurrent views. This is just like it got 89 views over the course of a day. And maybe some people looked at it afterward. But still, this works out to like some tiny amount of money. If I show the revenue on one of these videos, like this one, let's say. This one got 123. Where's revenue? Yeah, I got a quarter. And I lost a subscriber. Well, that's a quarter I wouldn't have had, and it probably didn't cost a quarter of electricity. I was looking at that. I like to at least try YouTube, though I'm on Linux, and I figure it might be a pain to get the plugin to work. Saw some articles that an Nginx web server can potentially do multi-streaming. Yeah, I think that would work. Alternatively, you could do like a capture card into another computer, but that's kind of heavyweight for that. Although it could also reduce the load on your computer you're streaming from right now. All right, so field supply levels there. We get the float power bonus here, and then the life bonus here. Hey, Shadow. Thank you for the raid. I always feel bad saying this. I don't recognize the name, and I hope that you haven't raided before and that I don't recognize the name despite a raid. No, I'm looking at your channel. I'm not totally sure. Let's see. Spawn World Procedural Generation. Spawn World. What is Spawn World? Oh, a game. I'm figuring everything out without just asking you the questions. Is this what you're working on? Is this your game, I mean? Because it looks pretty cool. Yeah, nice. Yeah, this looks like the kind of game that does pretty well on Steam usually. I feel like I've seen a lot of survival games over the years. And I don't know if this is specifically survival. It doesn't say it here, but it strikes me as the same sort of general setup. But Nino, how'd the stream go? Welcome in, everyone. We're working on a game called Skeleseller here. And oh, there we go. Yeah, we're working on a game called Skeleseller. And I was going to talk about what I'm doing, but it's not worth explaining. So anyway, yeah, there's a demo if you guys want to try it. It's about 2 hours long. Yeah, well, welcome in, everyone. So we call this health bonus. And there we go. There should probably be functions to do this in stack computations, like get power and health bonuses. And then I don't need to do this. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll look at that in a sec. I think we'll just say to put this in stack computations. Arch Linux. I've never like mained Linux. I don't think. Not for a personal computer, at least. And I wanted to. At the last company I worked at, they sent out a question before I started. And they said, what do you want, Windows, Mac, or Linux? And I said Linux, and they sent me a MacBook. And they had Chromebooks. So I'm not really sure why they sent that. But, nah, whatever. It led to me switching to a Mac, personally, probably. At least that was part of it. Okay, what am I doing? I'm looking at when you hire an adventurer. Yeah, so +0 health, +0 power. This should probably only show when you actually are greater than level 0. But yeah, so it's still paladin and rogue. Let's go get the treasure room. And let's go hopefully find a paladin or rogue thing. Nice, we got them both. All right, so we're going to take this and we're going to put this in here. And now it shows +5 health, +1 power. Now I think because this is right up against the edge of this, that it's going to span 2 lines. I guess it already is over here. So we could probably change this a little bit. Yeah, it's also gonna bump where the text is. Considering getting a Surface Pro for some dev away from desk. Down at the harbor. And then you can put it in like inflatable mode and become oceanborn. You are what you make. Hey, Crow, this looks beautiful. Thanks. Yeah, I can't take any real credit for how it looks. I don't do any artwork. But I did most of the coding, most of the game design, all of the music. I have the music turned off right now. Okay, yeah, so I think I only want to show this if you're at more than 0, but I genuinely like this idea, and I think saying this adventure here should probably also change. It should say the and then the display name for the adventure. Yeah. So let's get their display name. Display name, there we go. So this won't work for the mushroom, but instead of this adventure, we can say the display name. And then same thing down here. The rogue is level due to guild supplies. Yeah, we can say string guild supply bonus equals this. And only include that if this is great enough. So if guild supply level is greater than 0, then type in the bonus and add that to guild supply text. Good. Now we delete it from here. And then we put a period in regardless. I don't like this. Yeah, this is dumb. Let's do this. Guild supply bonus. Okay. So now I want to do this equals string.empty and then that and that and that. Okay, now let's try it. And then all I need to do is move some code around. Did I just start with things? Did I not save this? I don't really know what happened there. All right, so I still don't have the treasure room. There it is. Okay, now we go to hire. I'm going to save this. And we have the warrior and spirit caller. So it just has their level 0 due to guild supplies. And now we get there, nice spirit caller. So I want the spirit caller thing. And that changes this to say, it just says 5 and 1. It should say +5 and +1. Oh, and maybe that should be in bold. I'm actually not sure. How do we do it over here? Is that plus in bold? I think they all are. Yeah, it's definitely bold. Okay, fine. Then we should bold that too. Okay. So we put this plus health bonus, which actually probably cuts down on how much text that takes to render. And then same thing over here. Nice. Makes it sound like guild supplies are lowering the level to 0. Let me think about this. Because yeah, I guess when you see it over here, oh, they're not even level 0. Never mind. Level 1 is the starting level. I should probably say that. So this is actually level plus 1 is what we should say. But then maybe showing the bonus in parentheses is worthwhile because everyone starts at level 1. Or maybe in parentheses we say no bonus. Yeah, maybe no bonuses yet is better. No bonuses yet. And then we can simplify this a little bit and say in parentheses all of that stuff. And now the spacing doesn't need to be here and the parentheses don't need to be here. Okay, good. And then putting this into stack computations, I'm going to go do that now. Or cost functions. Doesn't make sense that it's in cost functions though. It should be in stack computations. So public static, what are they, integers? Are they integers? I don't actually know what they are. I don't even know where that code went. Here it is. Floats. Int and int. Okay, so these are not floats. They are both integers. So int health bonus, int power bonus, get guild supply bonuses. And this is from the guild supply level. And it doesn't matter which adventure it's for. And then we just return the things. Why are these why are these not integers? Yeah, nice. Cool. And then we use this in both of these places. So this will be int power bonus. Oh, it's health first. Health bonus, power bonus equals stack computations.get. Done with that. Go get that import and make sure we don't have anything extra here. We do. And then same thing over in adventurer panel tab where we get the bonus from power. Where art thou? I don't see it. Oh, it's not in here. It's in stack computations. What happened here? Okay. Health and power looks good. And I'll put health first. And then we call health bonus at all in any other place? No. This is like guild supply health bonus. I guess we can call it that. Guild supply health bonus. And guild supply power bonus. Okay, so we should go test that now. But I think all the to-dos have been addressed. And I think this will be clear enough to players. The whole point of this was when you're about to hire a new adventurer, you might have gotten to like level 12 through guild supplies. And if you don't know that, then you might not pick them. But it doesn't matter too much because you don't pick what items are in the chest. So you're going to naturally level up pretty much everyone the same amount. With that said, let's still look at this. Excuse me. Okay, we got to get the treasure room. Oh, I started with it. And then we need to click hire adventurer. So cleric and witch doctor. So it says the cleric is level 1 due to guild supplies. Maybe to say the cleric has a guild level of 1. Yeah, is level whatever. Kind of doesn't make sense. Has a guild level of 1. Yeah, but let's ignore the text now because I'm not going to reload that. So cleric and witch doctor. Now we need to get battle. No, not battle person. There's a witch doctor thing. So we're going to turn in the witch doctor item. And this now says Witch Doctor is level 2 due to guild supplies. And that should probably be bolded. +5 health, +1 power. Okay. Nice, nice, nice. So format this. BB code dot format number. Good, good. And then maybe we can make the 2 lines more succinct. Also, applesauce is really good with cinnamon. Just throwing that out there. Can I just continue the game, or did I not save? Nice. Okay, so the warrior has a guild level of 1. Maybe is guild level 1? No, that doesn't make sense. Guild level 1. What shows up here? It just says level 1 under guild supplies. That should probably be bolded too. It says you have 0 perks. You have 0 perks. Format number, num chosen perks, perks. Yep. I'm just nitpicking my way through this entire thing. We're going to eventually have something that looks good. You have 0 perks for the warrior already. It should probably say battle perks. Oh, we're going to call them level up perks eventually, which is maybe extra confusing. Do I? Yeah, okay. Sure. So let's go get those items here. Do we have them? Warrior. And warrior was offered, right? Yeah, warrior is offered. Okay, so let's get the warrior plate. I'll put that in here. There. Now it says that they're 2. So +5 health, +1 power. I hire them and I look at this and it says the same thing. +5 health, +1 power. Should reflect those here too. It does. Okay, we're looking good. Yeah. I'll look at it one more time and just see. Am I happy with this? Can we get any other items? Yeah, golem. So I'll take a picture of this so I don't need to keep loading this up. And let's go look at the picture. So we got their portrait, we have their regular level here, which is the number of perks you've chosen +1. So 0 + 1 is 1. And the golem has a guild level of 2, +5 health, +1 power. Yeah. Okay, yeah, looks good. Yeah, and I'll give you a point, Bloodstained Crow, because I think that was a good suggestion. And I wouldn't have noticed that I was even off by a level there. All right, Lambda expression can be simplified. I guess because we're not even using the adventurer class. Although it still says it can be simplified here. How? Oh, because I can delete that. Yeah, technically. And then this can just be set to that. No, that won't work. All right, whatever. Don't worry about that. And that is the change, right? Yeah. Let's check it in. Get guild supply bonuses. Looks good, looks good. Format number for the display name. All right, that's where most of this stuff went. Yeah, the rest of this all looks pretty straightforward. Is get guild supply level in 2 different places? Oh, that was bonuses, right? Yeah, it's bonuses. Okay, pretty reasonable. Does it make sense that this is in cost functions? I don't think so. Yeah, why is this there? Because supply costs are there? Level is a stat computation thing. Meh, I don't think it really matters. They're both just static functions. It's just which file are they in? All right, so what do we do here? show guild level before hiring in bone mode. You now see text like the golem has a guild level. The golem has a guild level of 2 plus 5 health plus 1 power. Before hiring or when hiring an adventurer. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's check that in. Okay, so this is done. What's next? Armor items stack up quite a lot without having an outlet for other than the shop and slime. This is written back for armors used to make keys. Okay, you know what? I'm going to think about this for a bit, but this has shown up a bunch of times, and I've never really come to a conclusion here. So if I can come to a conclusion now, great. If not, we just leave it for now. So let's open up the scratch pad that we have here. And just make a new section here for stacking too much of a certain item category. I have this to do item and I want to think about it some more. What a cat. Do you have names for your cats yet? My wife just asked me yesterday. And then she's still fond of Socks and Slinks. And I'm like, they're Kevin's cats. Let Kevin name the cats. Okay, so in general, I think our options are as follows. One is like make a new machine that will use weapons for something. Chronomancer isn't a bad idea. Like a temporary buff isn't a bad idea. Another is make it so that weapons can stack so that you're not bummed about collecting more. It's probably the simplest thing we could do. I find it hard going from one to do to another straight after, especially at work. I want a nice reward. So I've got this command about my mentality that I have here about bricklaying. I'll just put it on screen. And then I'll let you read it if you want. Stream died. I'm missing my own combo. Are weapons not being used for chests? Very behind. Right. So weapons are not being used for chests. Armor items are used for keys now. The reason for that, by the way, assuming you don't skip over this while trying to catch up, is that this is just closer to the key storage. So there were two options, and I went with this one, of course. But the other option that I liked was swapping the armor and the weapon shops. So the weapon shop would be here, and the weapon grinder would be here, and this would still take weapons. What I didn't like about this is that the first two shops you get are potion and armor. And if they are across the map from one another, I was worried that it would change the balance of the game too much. And I just don't feel like testing that stuff right now. So now it takes armor items to grind into keys. So make a new machine that'll use weapons for something. Make another key grinder. Another key grinder that takes weapons. Make it so weapons can stack. I mean, what else? That's kind of it, right? Or like arbitrarily have some preference for weapons. E.g., customers sometimes buy 2 weapons at a time, but nothing else. Kitty Catty McCatface. Catty McCatface. Every time I get a horse in a video game, I name it the same thing. It's always horse face. Link to doc. This document is private. The other document I have is public, but whoops, not that one. Sorry, this one. But yeah, this one's private. This one's also gigantic. Like this tab alone is 156 pages. Like the archive to do is 101 pages. The design is 30. This is 23. This one's not bad. Yeah, the other ones are like 3 and 4. And to-do list is only 10. That's not bad. So of all of these, I think stacking weapons might be the best idea. It does sound like you're kind of cheating if you do this. Also, weapon stacking, problem with stacking is that going from 1 to 2 doubles your storage. There is no way to stack like 1.5 items. And doubling your storage, I guess your base storage goes in increments of 2 already. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So this would make it go 4, I guess I go by 4s. Yeah, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. It's not so bad. I guess the first level is the same regardless of which one you get. But then if you already had 2 upgrades here, so it's at 6, it's now going to go up to 12. That's like getting 3 more upgrades for your weapon shop. Although not quite, because it's only stacking, so they have to be the same weapons. But you're probably getting the same weapons naturally. And then once they stack, are you selling them to the garbage slime and like kind of cheating the system? I don't know. Could upgrade some stands only. Yeah, that's true. Could just upgrade some stands. There's another option, just give out fewer weapons. I don't like that though. I think the answer is going to be a new machine. Yeah. I don't know what the machine's going to do. I like the idea of a new machine, but I don't know what it would do yet. What temporary things would you even want? Like faster battles. I don't even know though. It doesn't have to be temporary. If you get any temporary buff, it would have to eventually benefit you more than the value of the weapons would have, since you could have just sold the weapons. That's not actually entirely true. Actually, maybe you couldn't have sold the weapons because you have an overabundance. Well, then you can put in the garbage slime. Propose a repeatable quest to trade stuff 2 to 1. So you're thinking like the idea of the item transmuter, where you say like 1 weapon, or I guess 2 weapons, will just give you like 1 random potion or armor of roughly equal value or something like that. Was an overabundance not the source problem you were trying to solve? Yes, the overabundance is what I'm trying to solve. I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you were using this and you weren't in the case where you have an overabundance, then you would want to get more value eventually. So I guess if we treated it, I guess we could treat it as purely overflow. Purely as overflow. It could just be a trash can. Not really a trash can. That's kind of a joke. It could just be something that gives you 50% of the value of the weapon at any given time. It's like a worse garbage slime. Maybe not even worse. In fact, maybe that's the route we go with this. Maybe we have a perk that just says weapons fed to the garbage slime only decrease its hunger by 50% rather than 100%, or by half the usual amount. I don't like that because it's something you still have to do manually. And I kind of like the idea of a new machine. And I kind of want to at least explore this idea a little bit more. But I'm not totally sure what it would be. So as an example here, let's say we had a, I don't know, like weapon disenchanter. every weapon you put in gives you plus 10% power for 10 seconds across all battles. And it stacks in duration, not power. So you can keep extending the time. Just let's say you did this, right? Every weapon you put in, or well, it can't be for 10 seconds. I guess for X seconds, X is based on the value of the weapon. Yeah, so you put in a 3 gold bow and you get 3 seconds of value out of it. You put in a 34 gold sword and you get 34 seconds out of it. So toward the end of the game, you have pretty much infinite uptime. But like, would you even do this? And I don't think there's an obvious feedback loop on this. 10% more power might mean you're completing battles 10% faster. It's not a guarantee. And the reason it's not a guarantee is like, let's say it takes you 2 hits to kill an enemy. It might, I mean, if you're doing 2.2 hits because you have 10% power, you might still just kill the enemy in the same number of hits. So it's like, okay, it doesn't even speed up your battle. So clearly you just wasted money. But you wouldn't know that because you're not going to pay that close attention to this. So I don't think this is a smart move for the game, this specific formulation of this. I don't think this is a smart move, but I don't know what would be. Remember when spells took items? Yeah. Remember when there was a different effect for each item too? Oh, man. There were so many systems that were just gutted and taken out because they were stupid. I mean, that was a way of getting equipment to exist. And now we have the guild supplies thing at least. So we sort of satisfied that itch. But yeah, so I don't like this specific formulation because it may not even speed up battles. It's hard to get feedback on whether it's helping, and it's easy to eventually hit 100% uptime. I wonder if maybe we treat it as, what if it were, no, like okay, I'll say what I was going to say just to share the idea, but I was thinking like, what if you were making your own like loot boxes almost, like you're filling a treasure chest, and if you put in 3 items, let's say each one costs, so you put in like 3 bows for 3 gold each, and you eventually get something worth like 12 gold out of it. But then you'd never use anything but this system because you're guaranteed the money. So there had to be some time component to it. Like it's a weapon grinder and it's eventually producing items, and it's just another way of selling stuff, I guess. Maybe you're turning them into like gold bars or something. Out of curiosity, do we have a gold bar graphic? We have these. These look more kind of like coins. And we have actual coins, and we have a little loot bag thing. But no gold bars as far as I can see. Not that it matters. I was thinking like, what if you smelted weapons into ingots and then you sold the ingots, and yeah. You still wear your thoughts on? Yeah, I do. Hi, Magnus. How's it going? Kind of fun if the loot boxes went in the shops to the customers. Yeah, I think there would just need to be some limit on this, or else all you do is make loot boxes constantly. Weapon, armor, potion makes it back. Oh, I see what you're saying. It'd be combined out of multiple things. Yeah, the only issue is we need to figure out what happens when you have an overabundance of one item type. And right now, if you were to just play the playtest version of the game, there is the extractor for potions, and there is the weapon grinder for weapons, but there's nothing for armors. In the future, it's going to be swapped for these things. So there's going to be the armor grinder for armors and then nothing for weapons. So you have an item dump for 2/3 of the items in the game. I think we need an item dump for the third kind. Yeah, there'd be microtransaction store for cosmetics. I don't think we're going to do cosmetics, at least not for a while. I don't have a plan for it, at least. And I'm just trying to think at a high level, what do you want when you're playing the game? So like I'm selling my armors, I'm selling my potions, and weapons are just collecting up. And it's like, I guess I'd be fine just getting some value. You could always drag it to the garbage slime. Like suppose, maybe I should just start some battles. Yeah, let's start some battles. that doesn't do what I thought. Okay. Let's send 4 of you over there. And let's send another 4 of you over there too. And we'll speed those both up. Okay, so they should win pretty quickly. Oh, no, they won't, because that doesn't give them stats at all. No such thing as leveling them up in this mode, huh? All right, so let's just buy a whole bunch of these. I just want them to go a little bit faster, that's all. And that should probably do it. Okay, so flee those battles and repeat them. And now, do they win the fights? The one on the left does. The one on the right eventually does. Yeah, cool. So this will let me start getting some items. And this is not going to help me prove my point because we have the garbage time perk. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Anyway, so we're in this case. We've got armor items accumulating. We'd be like, oh, I'll just turn this on, right? Now they bring them up to here, and they start get. Did they just throw it in from over there? I think they did. I think they still have some like weird pathing thing going on. Turn on auto purchasing. Yeah, one threw it from over here. What is it doing? Man, I don't understand how that's happening. Oh, yeah, I just threw it again from over there. I don't know why that happens. They can't path to where they're trying to path to, I guess. I always feel like it would be good to have a conversion system of some sort. Dumping items is okay, but if I stack some mechanic that depends on a specific type, then being able to get more of that type is almost a requirement. But there is no... this is kind of predicated on the whole, if I stack some mechanic that depends on a specific item type. The only things that have that are the farm, the pond, and the treasure room. And none of them require too much of any particular item. But the farm fills up fast. And the treasure room, now keys cost only 6 gold. The pond is the only one that kind of needs a little bit more. And even then, it's not usually too bad. Looked to me like it was stepping in front of the machine at the same time as another thing gets lost for a while, chucks it from afar. I think there's probably something going on where this is like slightly out of bounds, so it can't path here, so it's getting as close as it thinks it can get. I'm just not sure why it doesn't think that this point is even closer. But the only way I'd be able to tell this stuff for sure is if I went to like navigation system or agent or whatever it is, nav agent. Yeah, this debug enabled. And then I turn on this and this. And then go play the game through there. It didn't know that I have a save file. Okay, well, whatever. All right, so we grant some items and we get the treasure room and we turn this on. So we can see that that skeleton's trying to go all the way up there. They all are. And then I need to get rid of these keys. Yeah, like that one just stopped there. Unfortunately, it was too hard to see. So let's go look at the VOD. Okay, it should happen pretty soon. Yeah, it's right there. Unfortunately, it's also pretty hard to tell, like, should that skeleton have gone up there? I have too many workers. But yeah, it threw it from here. And it just disappears. Just legit toss it from the corner. Yeah. Okay, so we should do this on a mode where we don't have a million workers. Let's go into that mode. Okay, so we still need a treasure room. And then I need some items. I want them to try getting an armor item up there. Yeah, this is going to be really hard to trick because I don't have a way of generating just armors. I guess we could just get the garbage slime and dump everything that's not an armor. It's kind of too late now. There we go. Now they only have armors. And if I put this over here and this over here, then they're going to try to walk up to here. And then I turn this on after they're waiting, and it's going to mess them up. Yep. Go wait. Okay, now I turn this on. Yeah, they tried pathing to here, and then they just throw it. You little jerks. How do I go see that now? Yeah. What are they doing? We're smarter, not harder. I can kind of maybe understand what's happening here. If we go look at item machine, it has a drop-off point somewhere. Here it is. The drop-off point is considered the center of that like nozzle on top. That is not in walkable area because there's an invisible border around this. So it tries to get as close as it possibly can, but that's not as close as it can get. The closest is up here, but it actually has no way to get to any of these because there's an infinite wall around that area. Yeah. Right. Just checking all the cutouts. Yeah. So it can't possibly get up there. So it stops here, though. It doesn't try to get closer. I wonder... Okay, here's what we could probably do and just fix this problem for good. Probably. But first, let's go fix something else. All instance data. Let's make only cloaks drop. Yeah. Let's delete all this. So only cloaks will drop. And then let's go change the nav layer of town scene. It's actually an environment, isn't it? Yeah. So what if I click here and then delete those? So now it's walkable. And then we just reload this. Is it forcing them to try to path out of the shop, but as they leave the shop, it's forcing them to deposit the item as close as possible on the current path? It should be that they find the destination and then just find the closest part. So this should kind of prove that this is working, I think. Let me see. So we get a bunch of items. They're just cloaks now. I put these up here. They're going to also try to go up there with them. And now you can see this blue means this is walkable. So now I'd be very surprised if they did not do what I want them to do. So they're bringing a cloak up here. The other one's going up here. I wanted them to go on the left side. Whatever. Let's just turn this on now. Yeah, so now they walk out of bounds to get up here, which actually is okay. I don't really care that they're doing that. So I'll turn that off. We'll get our workers to get all the other cloaks now. Go on. You can do it. All right, there we go. That one's up there. So now let's try this. It paths here and then goes up to that. So we know it's trying to get up to like that point. And when it couldn't get there, it went to here. Why wouldn't it go up to like this point though? Oh, because it has to find something on the perimeter of one of these polygons? Is that why? Oh, is someone pathing like way around? Okay, well, we definitely can't let that happen. Yeah, they are going way up there. Look at that. Just walking through the trees. Hello, mage. Oh, I'm going to go straight down now. Just walk through this building. Zoop. Oh, there. Now they can pick that apple. Good for them. Are the pads in the woods cobblestone, but the pads in town are dirt? Yep. Mysteries of life. So another thing we could do here is we could just move this all the way down so it's in the walkable area. But then the problem is that workers are told to just wait in the back of the shop. And the shops, so I'm gonna undo this. I'm gonna undo pretty much everything. Shops have some waiting area. Where is that? Worker idle area. Yeah, so for the armor shop, we could just like trim out a portion of this. And that's what we should probably do. But I don't want to fix that now. I want to fix whatever I set out to do. Yeah, that stuff. Okay, so make it so that the armor grinder is inside the armor shop's walkable area, and just trim the size of, what's that called? Worker idle area. For the armor shop. At least for normal A-star, pathing to non-reachable position is really bad for performance, no? I don't know how they do it here. I would imagine. Oh, interesting. Enemies back in made it unwalkable, so now they can't move. Yeah, I don't know how it goes, but I haven't seen any real performance problems, I guess. I got it. He clicked the apple. Not during a run, though. But Codex's mission is complete. So where did we leave off here, and why did I even go look at that? Oh yeah, because I want to see what happened in a real game. What do you want? What do you want in regular mode, and what do you want in bone mode? There's another thing we could do, which I think is probably stupid. But it could be like weapons get you treasure chests, and then armors get you keys for the chest. I don't think I like that. I think it's kind of silly. Because neither one of these really makes sense to begin with. But when you have two things that don't make sense, I think it just sounds arbitrary. Whereas if there's only one thing that doesn't make sense, you're like, I'll try to make it make sense. Yeah, money. Just give you more storage spaces for the weapon shop. Actually, I hadn't thought of that. We could just start you with extra spaces on the weapon shop, knowing that you're going to stack too many of them. Start you with more storage slots for the weapon shop. All right, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. But I think the simplest ones are these bottom two. Just don't give you as many weapons and just let you store more weapons by default. Just so torn on this. All right, I'm gonna do nothing for now. Conclusion, I'm going to do nothing for now, but I thought about all of this here. Here being in this section. The easiest things we could do would be to give out fewer weapons or to start you with more storage. However, I haven't tested the game in a while. I haven't tested the game after making it so that armor items are needed for keys. Yeah, so I'm just going to X this out. Oh God, now we're at the next thing. I want to do this one. All right, we're going to give myself a little bit of a pass here. And we're gonna bump this down. There. Okay. Any adventurers that never seem to have a place in challenge mode probably just need to be buffed. Candidates I'm thinking of, everyone who's not DPS. Well, they're all technically buffed by the treasure system a bit. Could be evil and make weapons sell for more, making it worth it to keep weapons around to sell. Puts pressure on the player to choose what gets stored. I don't think that's evil. I think that's kind of interesting. But I think it'll still be frustrating for players. Could make weapons sell for a bit more so that players are incentivized to figure this out for themselves. Found an issue, ignored it, and did nothing. I mean, haven't done anything yet. And I just didn't want to work on that in particular right now. So after doing a bunch of playtesting, I'm actually inclined to do nothing here, or at least very little, except for maybe Mushy. I don't know. That character is not the best. And one kind of basic thing we could do to make them a lot better is just like start them with 20% haste. Or give them better. Okay, this is kind of interesting. I didn't think about this. We have a generate function for everything. So like if I look at power battle perk, this is the same formula for every single character. We give you somewhere between 2 and 4 power at first. Then when you get another 4 perks, we give you somewhere between 3 and 5 power. So as you get more and more perks, the numbers naturally will go up. So that on your 50th perk, you're going to get 2 plus 50 divided by 4, but as an integer, so it's 12. So you're going to get somewhere between 12 and whatever the other number is supposed to be. I don't know. It's 3 plus 16, probably like 19. 14 and 19 power. But what if, like, the Paladin got a 20% boost no matter the level? And what if, like, Mushy got a 40% boost no matter the level? Those are other ways we could try to make them better, and then you'd want to pick perks for them a little bit more. I think it'd be interesting, but I don't know if we should. Well, we have so many different perks that I don't know if we should do it for that. Like, here are all the battle perk IDs we have. So we could give them more health, more power, more fortitude, more dodge, more haste, more lifesteal, more thorns, or more skills. Well, we can't really do the more skills very easily, I guess. Power is universally helpful for all the characters. Skills aren't necessarily as helpful. It depends on the skill. Fortitude, again, kind of depends on who else is in your party. I mean, it is pretty helpful if you get to like invulnerability levels. Kind of the same thing with dodge. Haste is pretty universally good. Lifesteal is now impossible to get on the characters it was bad for. And yeah, health is universally good. I actually want that to scale down as the game progresses. He's really bad early game, but if he's stacked and getting a bigger boost, he'll be a god. So you got something out of me and I got something out of you. I clicked an apple and you said that Mushy would be a god. I guess we both won today. Yeah, so I guess based on what you're all saying, I guess we go with the I'm inclined to do nothing here. There is something else we could do that's kind of interesting, which is we could just randomly determine that like 1 to 2 characters will be better for this particular run. And we don't tell you who they are. And there's only a chance for you to notice. And when I say only a chance for you to notice, we do something like this. We take those characters, so let's say it picks the rogue and the paladin, and we say there's a 40% chance that we apply some buff to some battle stats. So you might go a couple of levels and not see any difference. And then all of a sudden on the level 3 or something where you're not really parsing the stats all that closely, it's like the rogue has a 40% boost for that level. Or maybe a 100% boost or something. I don't know. So for that run, the rogue is actually just like more powerful. And if you could but the thing is, if you know this meta rule, you'll start looking for it. And it behooves you to look for it because it's just more power. So you're strongly incentivized to then use those characters. And I don't like that idea. In fact, actually, I kind of think about this sometimes in Slay the Spire. There are some cards that I could pick that are just better than other cards, but involve way more thinking or relics. And the one in particular that I'm thinking of, Slay the Spire, hide enemy intent. Where is it? What is that relic called? Runic Dome. This is probably the most advanced thing in the game, in my opinion. And it's pretty simple. I'm going to take all this stuff out because there's like a million ads on this page. Okay, there. So if you've played Slay the Spire, this already probably makes sense to you. If you haven't, the way this works is every turn in Slay the Spire, you can tell what the enemy's going to do. So if they're going to attack you, you might want to defend. If they're only going to defend on their own, you probably wouldn't want to defend because it's going to be a waste of your time. This relic gives you a very powerful effect. Energy is used for everything in the game pretty much. But now you can't see what they're going to do. So if you know the game well enough, you already pretty much know what the enemies are going to do, but you'd have to know pretty much every single enemies and bosses like AI. And if you played for a ludicrous number of hours, you would probably have memorized a lot of it, but you'll need to think a ton. So this might be the most powerful choice, but it's just like, it makes the game unfun for me to ever pick this. And I don't like that idea because I think that's what's happening here. Like, people want to play in the best way possible, but if the best way is not fun, then they're going to play in the best way and just not have fun doing it. And then they'll grow to hate the game. So yeah, I think we just leave this as is. Probably want to advertise that, though if you don't advertise it, it's going to feel like magic. I've literally never picked that relic. I picked it a couple times thinking like, how bad could it be? It's really bad when you're not paying attention to things. And if you are paying attention, you're like, oh, it's turn 3, they're going to use this ability. Then you're like, I only know this because I played for a ton. And it really makes you think, and then it kind of, I don't know. Yeah, it's frustrating. Some player might keep re-rolling to get the perfect combination, start optimizing the fun out of it. Yeah, I think this plays into something a little bit bigger here, which is like, what is the replay value of any game, and how do you break that value? So as an example, I would say if I'm playing like Diablo 2, there are 7 classes, there are tons of builds. So the replay value could be like trying a bunch of different builds. So how do you break that value? It's like, well, you probably tried every kind of thing you want to do. You ran out of challenges. It's like you pretty much just run out of content is how you break the value. Or you've experienced it all enough times where you're like, now I don't want to see the rest of the content. I think another thing is if you're going for like a strongest run and you accomplish the strongest run, you're now like #1 in the world. So in Skeleseller, I think it's still very casual, even in its replayability, that I don't think people are really incentivized to try breaking the game as much as they possibly could. It's like as much as will win them the run, but we might add leaderboards eventually. So yeah, anyway, I'm not going to do anything about this for now. I think I'm just going to leave this. And like I said, the best thing you can do with a to-do list is just drop items. So I'm going to say conclusion for this. I don't think classes are so far apart that you can never use a particular adventurer. Also, treasure has gotten a lot better. So most classes can at least be decent. I think the issue that really exists, and it's what's underlining this, is all you really care about in Skeleseller is how much loot am I getting from battles? Because the amount of like items per minute that you're getting is kind of the only metric that matters. So if the way to maximize that is always with the same characters like Archer, Rogue, Mage, it's going to kind of feel a little bit lame. And if you somehow got like the mushroom to level 14 and you were just like, well, there's really no point. I just did this for fun, but they're not that great. It just seems like small balancing tweaks. Tanks probably could use more base health, for example, and just see how that feels. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to think about it some more. Could do special targeted adventurer perks where just one is offered at some point in the early game for the player to choose. I almost wonder if there should be a town perk that says something like, I don't know, raise the haste of all your non-DPS classes or something. Or raise your lifesteal of all your tank classes. It's kind of interesting. We could also make a town perk that says something like give lifesteal to all tank. It would then list the tank classes. Or give haste to all healers or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to leave it as is. So my general stance on this is I want people to have fun playing. I don't know what long-term Skeleseller looks like, but at least for people's first maybe 5 runs, they don't seem to care too much about class balance because they're not paying attention to it. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. Also, why do I have all these changes? What are these? What is this stuff? Oh, I didn't realize I saved that. Okay, my bad. And then what's this doing? A UID change? Come on. Come on. Yeah, we can revert all of this. Except for that UID thing. It's going to come back. Set it to loss same in every game. Yeah. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that's my main goal for now is like make sure the game is fun for new players because the game isn't for sale yet. And if new players don't like it, other new players won't exist. Like, but yeah, that's why I say the thing about long term. It's like if you play the game and you sink, I don't know, 30 hours into it, which I'd be surprised if people did that. But if they put in 30 hours and they're like, I'm still having fun, but here's how my fun could be enhanced. Oh, I'd like some perks for this. I'd like the adventure balance to be sorted out. Maybe we can do something at that point. Now, the only things I want to be careful about are anything that completely invalidate people's progress somehow. So as an example, right now we have 10 adventurers. For whatever reason, let's say we somehow chop that down to like 1 adventurer. That kind of breaks the entire setup of the game. So that anything you did would have to be done in a totally different way. And like we should have planned for that and we should have tested it to find out that there was a problem with that. But just changing stat values is not that, it's not like a gigantic change. Take care, Matt. Enjoy the salmon bowls. All right, figure out what's going on with bosses. They're in a really weird state where they're basically guaranteed wins in every run that then disable those locations. I think we need to do the reusing locations work before this gets sorted out. All right. What do I want bosses to be in challenge mode? Like, I guess it's the same question I have for kind of everything. Power progression, money, maybe like more perks or something. I think it'd be kind of cool if you could pick your reward from them. Maybe it's like a special set. Maybe a special set of rewards. You could pick something like +1 Omni Orb or +1 Worker. Maybe like we try to balance these so they're kind of similar here. Or like +2 random town perks. It could even just always be those 3 things and you just pick one. They could always be kind of interesting, right? I don't know how you would know to choose these. Risk reward. Yeah, but I feel like the risk is it's very low. Like every run you play, you kind of have an idea for when you can tackle there are only 2 bosses right now. When you can tackle boss 1 and when you can tackle boss 2. Yeah. I like the idea that bosses keep getting harder. I just in a 20-minute long mode, fighting bosses with a risk of losing doesn't seem super appealing to me. I guess that's kind of what happens in Skeleseller. Like you have an idea of whether you can beat something, but you don't know for sure. What if the bosses, I can't really scale to your level, right? You got to be able to beat them. I think for there to be actual risk, you'd have to like put money on the line. You like pay to unlock a boss location and then you fight, and losing means having to pay again or something, so that maybe the first time you do it, you get an idea for how hard they are, and then you're like, okay, I'm not going to do that again until I know I can beat them. But if that's the case, probably wouldn't you just only unlock it when you're pretty certain you can beat them? So you'd save them toward the end of the game. Elysius. Losing a battle is a loss of income. I already have money online. That's true. Yeah. So right now in the game, I guess they just represent that you're going to get some money. And maybe that's what we should plan for here. This gives you power. This gives you perks. But so perks would have cost you money. But this is dog-earing the money for the perks. Maybe it's just those two things and you don't get +1 worker. +1 worker could be kind of interesting. +1 customer. Do we ever revisit that bosses show up in the map idea? Not yet, but that's something I wanted to do in November, hopefully. That and localization. Because the bosses showing up in the map thing. So for those who didn't ever hear about this, the idea, do we have this written down somewhere? Boss. Oh, it was in reusing locations. Hello, document, where are you? There you are. Where is it? Here it is. All right, I'm going to turn this in light mode so it's going to blind everybody for a second. And then I can take a picture and then we can unblind everybody. Okay, so the idea was something like this. You would see the boss directly on the map. And when you go fight in this location, you're actually fighting the boss. But then the boss is gone from that location. So now imagine they've been deleted. Oh, that's kind of cool. It blurs it. So they've been deleted. And now you just fight in the canyon. So there's no boss there. So you would always be able to tell when you're going to fight a boss very obviously. This idea doesn't really help answer the question, though, because we might have this ogre here or over here or off in the middle of nowhere, and you just pick them as like separately from a location. But I still don't know what they're supposed to do for you or why you'd fight them. Oh, the pay to fight the boss? Yeah. I think Codex convinced me, though. You are pretty much paying to fight them already, because if you lose, that's, you know, however much money you wouldn't have had. I mean, I do like this idea of a special reward, and I think it's always fun picking special rewards. It's just, it feels like another check mark in a whole list of check marks you have to get to win. It's like the start of the game. For me, it's like hire an adventurer, start the battles, maybe build something. Then it's typically like build something or hire something. And then after doing that a couple times, it's like start getting town perks. Probably change battle locations somewhere in here. And it's like manage all the many systems that you have. There's tons of stuff to do. So where would bosses factor into this? I mean, I guess one of the differences is in this style of doing things, where the boss is blocking the location, the only way you can fight in the canyon is to beat the boss first. So if the canyon has something you need, then it would become almost a requirement. But I don't think there would be something that you need in there. It only have to be for quests, and even quests are only for workers, and you can get workers through upgrade points now. I don't have a great idea. And let's say we did the special rewards. Where would we show these? It'd probably have to be some like special boss tab in here. So you start a new game, and right now you see 4 different tabs. Town, battle, build, hire. So there'd be like a boss tab that shows up when you have access to it. And when you click that one, it shows you, do you want another worker? Do you want 2 Omni Orbs, or do you want something else? Yeah, that could be how it works, I guess. Or what if it just randomly gave you one of those things and you didn't even choose? I guess you'd want to know what you got. You could also get loot on top of all of that. Have I answered any questions from this? I don't think I have. So I sort of like the idea of them giving you a choice. E.g. between +2 Omni Orbs, +2 random town perks, +1 worker or customer. These could go into a new boss tab. Hey, Pretzel. Mr. Oatman. Morpheus? And they're just the thing that you do, right? I almost forgot. Oh yeah, it's Wednesday. You're the only one of the trio who remembered it's Wednesday. Matt was just in here. He's making salmon bowls now, blissfully unaware that he violated his Wednesday contract. I don't think we do anything about this right now. Yeah. I don't want to do anything about this for now, but I don't really like how it's panning out. I don't know the role the boss is supposed to perform. It's sort of like a one-time location. Well, it's not sort of. It's a one-time location right now that could give you extra gold. But it's so much extra gold. I guess that's the thing, right? It's like, when do you get this? I think that is the role. I do like the general idea that the battles right now give you a lot of money. So the sooner you beat them, the better. And it's just a matter of knowing when you'll be powerful enough to beat them. However, that's how regular battles already work, since they give you better loot. In story mode, boss battles are essentially supposed to be puzzles, since you can control which adventurers you have and which skills you have allocated. Doesn't really work here. This is another cat picture. What's the same cat picture? Still worth showing again. It's not even Wednesday anymore, but it's for you, so that's enough, right? Yeah, that's enough. I think that's good. Yeah, this is another consideration. Bosses were intended to be puzzles. They're things that sort of stop you for a bit and make you think, wait, how am I supposed to beat this? And it doesn't work that way in bone mode. It feels a little bit redundant with just fighting in different locations. I wonder if we just remove the bosses. Yeah. I think it's worth either removing bosses or having them be totally optional or even random. When you see one on the map, maybe you try to battle it based on which level it is, and you'll get a really good reward. But maybe you only have one shot. I don't know about that. Yeah, I'm just going to X this out for now. But yeah, I'm not sure what I want to do for that. I wouldn't know if you were in the UK. I think your schedule would be different, such that you're not coming in saying, I'm going to go work out. So I think I'd have a hint. let's go archive this stuff. I am skipping some of these things. Are we aiming to reduce the size of the file? Yeah. We're just about to archive them and check how many characters we've gotten rid of now. All right, so we are at 10,085. Ended the afternoon with 10085. I don't know for sure that I want to be done right now, but I'm kind of losing steam. And I think this is a good thing to start with tomorrow with tips. We've gotten a lot of this done. Oh, hey, this is finished too. Wow. Doesn't even belong on the list. And it's more than 85 characters. So we can say that we ended at less than 10,000 characters, right? What are we at now? 9904. Yeehaw. Well, I don't, like I said, I'm losing steam. I would need to take a break, but I kind of want to take a slightly longer break than just like a 3-minute break. And if I'm going to do that, I'm probably not coming back to streaming. Yeah, some of these I think shouldn't be too bad. Pulse bind doesn't satisfy customer desires. Sign for the weapon grinder in story mode doesn't match where it gets built. We are making good progress through this stuff. It has been going well. And the list is not that long anymore. It takes up 6 Google Docs pages. Yeah. I think we just count this as a win. Also, I am incredibly warm. Time to take off the Skeleseller hoodie. Oh, we can delete this. I'll save that for later. But yeah, this whole metals seem to be adding pressure. I think we can just... I think we need to keep metals. I think metals are important. Guess I won't buy the hoodie now. Hey, I deserve a medal every once in a while. And if I'm the one to give me a medal, that's fine. I will graciously accept it. So I've mentioned this already, but the 22nd, a week from today, for me at least, I'm not going to be streaming until November 3rd. So we have tomorrow morning, all of Friday, all of Monday, and then Tuesday morning. So that is 3 full work days. And I could maybe stretch one of those days a little bit more. But yeah, let's say 3 full work days. I think we'll get done with a good chunk of this stuff. And then in November, what I want to start tackling is localization and at least figure out what the plan is. I need enough people who speak another language to lend a hand, and not like, it doesn't even have to be a big hand. So for example, let's say someone speaks French, then I want to see what happens. Here's my idea, and this is not unique. I want to try an AI-based translation thing, and then I want to run it by someone who actually speaks the language to see like how good of a job did it do. Is it 80% of the way there, and I can hire someone who speaks whatever language to clean it up? Or is it 20% of the way there and it's just a waste of time? Or do I get a human to translate like 20% of the game and then the AI can base it on all of the stuff that was done? I got a message for you from someone. Oh, which cat typed that? I took a wonderful picture of Abby. Let me show you this wonderful picture. Look at that. She had her face directly on her paw. It was just adorable. Boy cat did, gotcha. Hey, Liaison. You said GPT's translation is really good. Okay, yeah, I definitely want to try that sort of thing out. So that's what I want to see in November. Like, how does that process go? What do we need to do? I'm one of hundreds of people here who speaks German. Can't offer anything more special, sadly. No, but it'd be great if you wouldn't mind taking a look at some point. Like, I run it through a German, I guess you could even just do this on stream. I run it through some tool. I'll probably have to pay for the tool. And I say, here's all the English stuff. Can you generate the German stuff for this? And you're like, okay, those couple of buttons are wrong, but in general, it's pretty good. If that were the case, I think we can do an AI-based translation for a lot of the game. Because the interesting thing about translation is that it's not verifiable by just anyone. It's like if you got someone to make a UI for you, at the end of it, you'd be like, okay, I can click the pause button and it pauses. With a translation, it's like, I don't know if this is what a native speaker would say. And I'm not going to learn that in the amount of time I want to take to launch the game. Hey, Sinistella. I never see dog owners do this stuff. Oh, really? Oh, come on. People do all sorts of things with their dogs. You just haven't seen those. But look at that cat. It's a great cat. Okay, I'm going to get going. I think it was a good stream. I'm hoping tomorrow and then the next few days will be good streams because then it's vacation time. And then by the time I get back, I'll hopefully have had some time to kind of reset. And I also want to do another launch on Friday if I can and get things to be in better shape. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your day and I will see you tomorrow morning. Goodbye.